Some royal scandals were never real at all. They were fake news that fooled the world. A queen declared dead while she was still alive. A prince accused of an affair that never happened. And a young royal smeared by a fake cheating scandal that made headlines worldwide. These weren't whispers in palace halls. They were global headlines that turned out to be false. So which royals found themselves at the center of fake stories that shocked millions? Here are 12 who were caught in fake news scandals. At number 12, we have Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. In June 2022, Prince Harry was the subject of a viral fake news story that he and Meghan Markle had secretly signed divorce papers. The rumor originated from misleading Facebook posts and clickbait videos touting media shock. Harry and Meghan have finally signed the divorce papers. These claims provided no credible evidence, instead recycling speculated gossip from estranged family members and tabloids. The false story spread rapidly on social media, exploiting public fascination with the Sussex's private life. Facebook eventually flagged these posts under a program to combat misinformation. Mainstream media and fact-checkers swiftly debunked the divorce rumor. Pulitzer-winning fact-check site PolitiFact rated the claim as false, confirming that there was no truth to the reports of Harry and Meghan divorcing. PolitiFact did note that there had been past gossip suggesting marital troubles. Quote, "Nothing corroborates this claim," and no reputable outlet had reported any such split. Indeed, at a time the story circulated, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were publicly united, making media rounds together and even returning to the UK jointly for the Queen's Jubilee that month. No official comment was issued by Prince Harry's representatives, but the spread of the debunking helped contain the false narrative. Many royal watchers reacted with skepticism to the salacious post, recalling similar unfounded rumors that have troubled Harry in the past. And moving on, at number 11, we have King Harald of Norway. September 2017, Norway's 80-year-old King Harald was inadvertently lost his life by the country's own news service in a false report that made headlines. The respected Norwegian news agency NTB accidentally released a pre-written obituary alert for King Harald, erroneously announcing that the monarch had passed away. The alert, sent to Norwegian media subscribers just after noon, September 26, stated, "Norway is in mourning, King is no more," complete with placeholder XXs for the details that were obviously not confirmed. Within minutes, NTB realized the grave error that they made and issued a retraction, explaining that it was a technical error that caused the draft obituary to go out. "NTB is withdrawing the alert. We sincerely apologize." The follow-up message read, "The false news caused a momentous alarm until it was clarified." Norway's royal palace quickly reassured the public that King Harald was in fine form, alive and well. In fact, King was reportedly on a jungle trip that week, an almost comical match to the news that he was supposedly in his demise. NTB's managing editor issued a public apology, calling it extremely regrettable and explaining that the agency maintains pre-written obituaries for notable figures which should never be published until confirmed. A technical glitch during a routine update had sent King Harald's draft obit across the wire inadvertently. Next, we have Prince Daniel, Duke of Astrglana. As the husband of Crown Prince Victoria, Prince Duke found himself at the center of fake news firestorm regarding their marriage. In fact, Daniel took the unusual step of personally addressing these rumors in 2023, offering a valuable perspective in combating royal misinformation. The false story, initially spread in 2022 by a gossip site, accused Daniel of having betrayed Victoria, insinuating an affair, claimed the couple were close to separation. Though entirely unsubstantiated, these allegations gained enough traction to prompt intervention. By 2023, Daniel broke the royal silence in a televised interview, visually frustrated by the lingering whispers. He described the rumors as very mean and, quote, completely false, emphasizing that he and Victoria felt compelled to speak out after their friends from across Sweden and abroad contacted them in alarm. Daniel explained that the situation arrived at a certain point where he felt he could no longer accept it, shedding light on the human toll of such fake news. In an interview, he directly refuted the idea of infidelity or divorce plan, reassuring the public the strength of their marriage. According to The Independent, the prince also implicitly criticized the clickbait media culture, implying that no serious person would believe his gossip absent of evidence. Interestingly, the tabloid reporter who first published the false claims continued to insist his anonymous sources were credible, and the next three weren't just rumors, they were palace nightmares. One claimed the prince had fled, another came from a staged TV broadcast, and the third was so bizarre it baffled the public. At number 9, we have Prince Charlene of Monaco. In 2023, Prince Charlene became the target of a high-profile fake news story that claimed she was separating from her husband, Prince Albert II. March of that year, a French magazine called Royauty published an attention-grabbing piece alleging that Charlene and Albert were in the process of divorce or a permanent split. The rumor quickly spread across social media and was picked up by international tabloids, fueling wild speculation about the state of Monaco's royal marriage. Given that Charlene had spent extended time abroad in 2021-2022 for health reasons, some found the narrative plausible. It was entirely unfounded. The Palace of Monaco moved swiftly to debunk the story, and Charlene's own spokesperson in South Africa went on record to denounce the report as totally false. Charlene was simply overseas for work, the spokesperson explained, adding that, quote, any speculation suggesting they're separating is totally false. Indeed, Charlene's absence from Monaco Rose Ball was because she was in Dubai establishing her charitable foundation, not due to marital strife. Furthermore, the day before the false rumor broke, Charlene and Albert had been seen happily together at an awards event, and shortly after, Charlene reappeared in Monaco with her wedding ring on, putting gossip to rest. Princess Palace also issued a rare public statement through official channels condemning the malicious rumor and labeling the French magazine story as, quote, totally unfounded. Next, we have King Juan Carlos I of Spain. The former King Juan Carlos I has been the center of real scams, but also a target of fabricated stories. One notable example is the fake documentary that aired in Spain in 2014 that presented an alternative history of a famous event, the 1981 takeover. In a televised spoof created by journalist Jordi Evoli, the takeover was portrayed as having been secretly orchestrated as if it was a genuine investigation film, including staged interviews and phony revelations. Some viewers initially took it seriously, believing it uncovered fake news involving the king. The hoax was later revealed as an experiment in misinformation, a form of satire. But not everyone was amused. Spain's Commissioner for Journalism and Ethics reviewed the fake documentary and sharply criticized it as based on lies. The commission noted that even though the program didn't intend to deceive maliciously, it could have ethical and legal consequences because many audience members were indeed fooled at least briefly. The creators defended it as commentary on media gullibility, but the stunt did highlight how easily false narratives near Juan Carlos has been dogged by more conventional fake news, as well as they often play on kernels of truth to spin out wild stories. And the next three weren't just gossip, they shook palaces. One declared a princess dead, another nearly splitting a crown prince's marriage, and the third passed down on a royal wedding. At number 7, we have Princess Birgitta of Sweden. In 2016, Princess, one of King Carlos XVI Gustaf's elder sisters, was shocked to read news of her own demise splashed across Spanish media. Several newspapers in Spain had published stories claiming the 79-year-old had lost her life in her home on the island of Mallorca. The reports described the concerned neighbors raising the alarm after not seeing the princess for a week and included incorrect details about her life. The grim story spread rapidly, understandingly shocking readers, none more so than the princess herself, who is alive and well. Swedish expatriates in Spain alerted local Swedish language media, which immediately suspected something was off. A reporter from Sweden's Expressen then managed to call Birgitta directly, finding her indeed alive and rather angry. Birgitta vehemently denied the fake story and blasted the outlets for their sloppy falsehoods. Quote, they should do a bit more research before writing those things. God, how stupid they are. Shameful, she fumed in her statement to Expressen. It turned out that the false report was likely due to a mix-up of identity. Just days earlier, Princess Birgitta of Prussia had lost her life in Germany. Danish papers apparently confused the two princesses erroneously in publishing the news under the Swedish princess's profile. The incident sparked embarrassment and apology. Next, we have the Crown Prince Haakon of Norway. In late 2013, Norway was rattled by a wave of unfounded rumors claiming that the prince and Crown Princess Mette were on a verge of divorce. The chatter began on Twitter and Facebook at a time where users speculated that Norway's popular royal couple might secretly be separated. Rumors spread so widely that some concerned citizens actually phoned the royal palace in Oslo seeking the truth. Sensing the growing public anxiety, a Norwegian news site ABC Nyheter published a story about the phenomenon, reporting it that, quote, worried Norwegians were calling the palace due to the divorce gossip. An article ABC Nyheter included a telling on-the-record quote from palace official who dismissed the speculation outright. We are familiar with the rumor, they said, and it's just a rumor. The palace representative went on to say, emphasizing it's not true. Officials noted that multiple people had inquired. There is no basis for the claims whatsoever. This clear denial helped stop the rumors in the tracks. However, the very act of the news outlet reporting on the rumor drew criticism from media ethicists. The Secretary General of Norway's Press Association rebuked ABC Nyheter for essentially amplifying the unverified rumor, arguing that established media should not lend credence to social media chatter without solid sourcing. The website defended itself by saying that the story was about public reaction to the false rumor rather than the rumor's content. At number 5, we have King Frederik of Denmark. In late 2023, King Frederik, heir to the Denmark throne, found himself embroiled in a tabloid-fueled fake news story alleging he he had an extramarital affair. Rumor originated when paparazzi photos emerged of Frederick in Spain with a female acquaintance, which gossip outlets spun into a tale of infidelity. According to People magazine, a Mexican-born socialite, Genoveva Casanova, was named in press reports as a supposed mistress after she's seen accompanying Frederick during a private trip in Madrid. Sensationalist media speculated that Frederick's marriage to Queen Mary was in peril, with some even linking this to Queen Margaret's false abdication plan. However, those close to the royal family quickly poured cold water on the salacious narrative. Genoveva Casanova publicly denied any romantic involvement, firmly stating herself that allegations of the affair were untrue. Her denial was reported by outlets like El País. Referenced in international coverage, she explains that her interactions with Frederick were misinterpreted and that nothing improper occurred. The Danish royal court did not issue an official statement on the matter, but the couple's actions spoke louder. The couple maintained a united front. In the weeks following the gossip as spread, they hosted Spain's King Philippe VI and Queen Letizia on an official visit, appearing warm and close throughout, which many saw as a subtle rebuttal to the rumors. Next, we have Prince Albert II of Monaco. Shortly before Prince Albert's highly anticipated 2011 wedding to Charlene Whitstock, a sensational fake story threatened to overshadow the celebrations. The French weekly L'Express reported a huge claim that Charlene had attempted to flee Monaco just days before the wedding, allegedly getting as far as the Nice airport in a bid to return to South Africa on her own, and that palace officials intervened to persuade her to stay. This drastic narrative of the runaway bride, complete with details of one-way plane tickets, spread like wildfire through international media. The tale implied that Charlene had cold feet due to rumored revelations that Albert fathering an illegitimate child, casting a cloud over the impeding nuptials. Palace of Monaco surprisingly responded with an uncharacteristically forceful denial. In a format statement, the palace, quote, vehemently denied the report, calling the claims untrue and deplorable, and the damage done to the couple's image on the eve of their happy event. A palace spokeswoman said that the rumors were, quote, gravely hurt the image of the sovereign and were categorically false. Prince Albert's lawyers also sprang into action, stating that the L'Express story was sheer madness and everything is false, confirming that he was with Albert and Charlene in Paris just days prior. And I can promise you everything, he said, is fine. He immediately filed legal proceedings against L'Express for defamation. We're down to the final three now, and they're the most unbelievable. One spread by careless error, one by pure confusion, and the last really shocking. At number 3, we have Queen Paola of Belgium. In 2015, Belgium's royal family had to apologize for an unfortunate false alarm regarding Queen Paola, the mother of King Philippe. The palace had been responding to condolences after the demise of Queen Fabiola in December 2014. And according to Reuters, in early 2015, about 150 members of the public who had sent sympathy letters received an official reply card that contained a shocking error. It thanked them for their comforting words following the demise of Her Majesty Queen Paola. In other words, the pre-printed cards accidentally announced Paola herself had passed away, which was completely untrue. Check today. This mix-up effectively spread fake news of Paola's demise to those recipients, and once discovered, caused quite a stir. The palace swiftly clarified that it was a human error. The spokesperson explained that someone preparing the thank you notes must have mistakenly inserted Paola's name instead of Fabiola's. The royal household was reportedly mortified by the mistake, and assurances were given that Queen Paola was alive and in good health. Fortunately, the scope of the error was relatively contained. It was not a public press release, but a set of mailed cards, yet it still leaked to the media when a baffled recipient shared the news. Next, we have Grand Duke Henri of Luxembourg. In 2020, Grand Duke Henri, who has ruled Luxembourg since 2000, faced persistent rumors that he was on the brink of abdicating in favor of his son, hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume. These whispered emerged amid a challenging period for the Grand Ducal Court. An official report had criticized management issues, and at the palace, in the fallout, some speculated that Henri might step aside in form of accountability or modernization. The abdication rumors gained traction on social media and in local chatter, suggesting Henri would follow the example of some other European monarchs who had abdicated in recent years. However, October 2020, Henri decisively rejected the speculation. In the interview with Luxembourg's Wart newspaper marking his 20th anniversary on the throne, the Grand Duke addressed the abdication question head-on. He acknowledged hearing the quote-unquote persistent rumors in his opinion, but stated plainly that it isn't possible for him to relinquish the crown at a time of crisis. According to Royal Central, abdicating during tumultuous times, he said, would be like surrendering, and was not in his plans. Henri also expressed that both he and Grand Duchess Maria Theresa were shocked by the rumors that have spread. This frank dismissal from the Grand Duke himself put the rumors to rest. Also, the public reaction in Luxembourg was largely supportive of Henri's stance. And at number 1, we have Queen Letizia of Spain. Shortly before she became queen in 2014, Letizia of Spain was the subject of a fake news controversy caused by a gossip magazine's ethically dubious stunt. Let's call it that. The Spanish celebrity magazine 10 Minutos published what is called an imaginary interview with the then Princess Letizia Letizia, a completely fabricated Q&A presented as if the royal had spoken to them. On its cover, the magazine even teased the conversation that could have taken place, blurring the line between fantasy and journalism. Inside, they ran a 3-page spread with a made-up set of questions and answers, including fake quotes such as Letizia supposedly saying, "The prince and I have different characters, but we admire each other." Letizia never actually gave any such interviews or consented to this piece. The publication admitted it was a figurative interview concocted from reliable sources and checked information, especially the writer's speculation about what she might say. The reaction was swift and negative. Spain's journalistic ethics watchdog, the Federation of Press Association, received a formal complaint calling the article a breach of professional ethics and a discredit to journalists. Colleagues argued that printing invented statements under the guise of an interview as entertainment was deeply misleading to readers. While the Spanish royal household did not directly intervene, Letizia's team was reportedly displeased. The magazine's editor defended this piece as a, quote, bold exercise in journalism, claiming no harm was intended. With this, we end today's video. We'll be back with a new one shortly. Until then, happy watching and do subscribe to our channel if you still haven't.